we're gonna have some fun today. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. So I'm doing a demo of the latest version of the Clean by Pan the Organizer wheel and tire cleaner. Now, obviously, this is not a final label, right? So we're still in the steps of R&Ding and testing. But what I wanted is a combo to clean both wheels and tires with one product. I wanted something that is absolutely amazing. And well, you're gonna see it in a demo. We're gonna use a foaming pump sprayer with the IK Foam Pro 2. I'm also going to use it in a regular spray bottle. So we're going to see both applications, foaming and non-foaming, to see what kind of results we're going to get. So by the way, don't worry, I'll include the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, this has been a fun one because it's one of the most requested new products by you guys, my viewers, for the Clean by Pan the Organizer lineup. And so it could have been ready in early spring, but I wanted something more. So the formula was already absolutely amazing, but I wanted more because I knew, according to the chemist, that there were some new raw materials that were coming in. And so a lot more possibilities were kind of open to me. So of course I always want better for you guys, my viewers. I just don't want to have something that, yeah, I'll be super proud of, but I want something even more, right? I want it to be the best for me. So yeah, that's what we're doing here today, is to talk about this product. So what can I say about the wheel and tire cleaner? First of all, this one here has readily biodegradable surfactants inside there. So we did not want to use the traditional old school technology of sodium hydroxide, right? That's super old school, very caustic type materials. Not only can they be damaging to the surface, but they also can be damaging to your health, especially when you remember all that kickback and fumes that you get from some of those wheel and tire cleaners. So we wanted to keep that to a minimum with this type of product. Very high quality surfactants. So I want something that will not harm the rubber when you're using it as the tire cleaner, correct? Something that will help to pull out the dirt, but not remove all of the antioxidants that are inside the rubber. Those you want to maintain inside there as much as possible to keep the rubber in good health. That helps to prevent oxidation, rubber degradation, and cracking and all that kind of thing. So we want it to be safe. And for the wheels, well, obviously we want this to be a safe wheel cleaner, including coated wheels like I have on my own vehicle. So on the test vehicle today is my own Porsche Cayenne. For future videos, I don't want to spoil everything right now, because you're going to see it in action in future videos as well. But we're going to do it on my daily driver. It dissipates a lot of brake dust because German vehicles, they have high performance brakes, and this is no exception. Hasn't been cleaned in about 2 weeks at this point. The things that I would do for you guys, you know, I wash my car twice weekly usually, but it's been a few weeks because I wanted it to be kind of dirty, right, for this test. Let's put it to its paces. So this is a highly concentrated version. So I wanted this to be dilutable so it could be economical as well for you guys to use. So we're looking at dilutions of 1 to 5 typically is what we're aiming for heavy soiling, 1 to 10 for your light to medium type dirt, and you could also go up to 1 to 20 if you maintain and clean your car often. So that was pretty cool. So we're going to do the dilutions together in the bucket as well to have lubrication. We're going to use the Clean by Pan the Organizer shampoo. Absolutely fantastic. I have this in my wash buckets for the paint, but also in my dedicated wheel bucket just to add more lubrication to the tools that we're using. But this is also highly lubricating on the surface. It's safe, by the way, for all wheel finishes except raw or bare or polished aluminum. So anything in that, so bare aluminum, polished aluminum is not recommended, but every other wheel type, absolutely no problem. Even matte satin finishes, no issues with that. And the majority of the wheels out there are clear coated anyways. So let's do the dilution. I know you guys want to jump into that demo. By the way, this is a pH currently, from what my chemist told me, in the bottle undiluted around 12-ish. And once diluted around 11-ish, don't mark my words, we're going to have the full SDS once we launch the official version. But that's kind of like what the chemistry is. This should be pretty amazing. So let's do the dilutions and then jump into the demo. All right, first order of business, always wear gloves. I wear nitrile gloves when you're doing detailing and you're using chemicals. As safe as they are, chemicals are still chemicals at the end of the day. And if they're on you, they can get inside you. No pun intended. So first of all, let's start with the IK Foam Pro 2. So this one here, don't mistake it with the multi, which is non-foaming. The IK Foam Pro 2 is the foaming version, has this purple tip here. So inside here, we have 500 milliliters of just plain tap water. And we're going to be using 100 milliliters of the wheel and tire cleaner. So that's a 1:5 dilution ratio, 1 part of product to 5 equal parts of water. So let's measure up 100 milliliters here. There we go. And that's going to be the 1:5 dilution ratio. So I don't know if you guys can tell on camera. Well, let me bring that down here. You see that there, 100 mils. So 100 mils is just under that 4 ounce mark for those of you using different metrics. So we pour that in there. So again, 100 milliliters of the wheel and tire cleaner, 500 milliliters of water. So that's a 1:5 ratio, 600 total milliliters. We're going to swish that around. So it has this beautiful orange color. So I wanted that food grade dye in there to give it that look. So there we go. We're going to, of course, pump it up. When you're pumping your foaming pump sprayers, by the way, pump them up until you hear the psh sound. So that is the pressure relief valve. It's going to tell you when it's fully pressurized. Never fill, by the way, your containers all the way to the max. Usually the maximum line is 50 ounces or 1.5 liters. You got to leave some air. You got to leave some space for the air, right? So never overfill. In this case, I'm only mixing a batch for this wash here, but you could mix a little more and keep this stored 1 to 2 months, no problem. By the way, the shelf life of the chemical, we're aiming for 2 years, just like the rest of the Clean by Pan deorganizer, contrary to typical shelf life for chemicals, which is about a year. We use premium quality stuff, so we're looking at 2 years shelf life if maintained in stable conditions and not frozen. So for the non-foaming demo, or for those who don't have foaming pump sprayers, who just have regular trigger sprayers, we're going to use the 1:10 dilution ratio. So here, this is a dilution bottle that has the markings on the side. So you fill it first with the water to the dilution ratio that you want. And then we're going to fill up to the fill line with the concentrate for that 1:10 ratio. And there we go. So you're not using a lot in this 1:10 ratio. And by the way, there's a little app called DRC, Dilution Ratio Calculator. You guys can get it on the App Store or on Android. I'm pretty sure this is an iPhone, but you can put your container size. So if you're working in ounces, see here we have a classic 16 ounce bottle. We're looking for a 10:1 dilution ratio. So that would mean 1.5 ounces of product and 15 ounces of water. And if you're working in milliliters, a classic size is a 500 milliliter bottle, right? As the same 10:1 dilution ratio. That means 45 milliliters of product, 455 milliliters of water. And that's an easy way to calculate your dilution ratios. So this is our trigger sprayer. So again, in the foaming pump sprayer, we're going to have the 1:5 ratio. And in the regular spray bottle, we'll have the 1:10 ratio. So mix that up. Again, very, very nice coloring to this. I hope you guys like that too. So let's do the demo on the wheels themselves. So before we start with the demo, let's have a look at the state of the wheels and tires. So we just finished pull-in season. And of course you can see all the dirt and the brake dust in there. It's quite disgusting. Look at that. These are gloss black wheels, so a more delicate finish. So that's going to give us a good idea of how this will work on there. So yeah, all that dirt, all that brake dust, a little bit of brown dirt on the tires themselves. All right, when you're cleaning wheels and tires, quick pro tip, by the way, never work on hot wheels and tires. If you just came back from a drive, let the system cool down. And we're going to start also, so now obviously it's cool to the touch. We're going to pre-rinse the wheel to knock off the majority of the loose dirt and debris. All right, by the way, I remind you, these are coated wheels. So we see the awesome hydrophobic properties that are on there. So the wheel and tire cleaner from Clean by Pan deorganizer is safe on coated wheels as well. So coated or uncoated, it doesn't matter. So we have here fully pressurized the IK Foam Pro 2 with our dilution mix. It's fully pressurized. So let's go ahead. Oh, this is beautiful. And hopefully you can tell on camera, we made this quick to react as well. Now this does not contain an iron remover, right? So what this is supposed to do is tackle your normal cleanings, and we have a dedicated iron remover in the lineup that should be available depending on when you're watching this video, pretty close to final production when you want to do deeper cleanings, but you don't need to use iron removing wheel cleaners for every regular weekly or bi-weekly or monthly washes, just when you have enough of that caked on brake dust where you need that extra help, because iron removers are very expensive, so you want to preserve them for as much as you can. This is really meant for use as often as you want to clean your wheels and tires, but we can tell all that brown dirt that it's pulling. Let me bring you in closer. So, very high foaming formula, and this is just from my normal tap water, so I didn't use the DI system on this. This is 178 ppm, so my water is hard water. So imagine how much better this could be with deionized water. But when I run my tests, for you guys, I want to make sure that I'm using what people would normally use, which is regular water. Look at that. Look how it's pulling all that dirt and grime. Nice bubbling action. So those bubbles, they like to explode to bring a fresher layer up as well of cleaner. So we should get tons of lubrication on there. Now for the tools, I use my classic. So Detail Factory stiff bristle tire brush, and that should be enough. Don't be overly aggressive. Let the chemical and the tool do the job. So great job at pulling that browning. Now these are not excessively disgusting wheels, but still we're going to see if that 1:5 ratio is too harsh and if it kills the ceramic coating. Now, usually you want to go for a white foam, especially when you're prepping before a tire dressing or a fresh tire sealant or a tire coating, right? But for regular washes, you don't have to always get to that white foam. Purpose is to get the tire clean, but you don't want to remove all of those anti-oxidants inside there. So don't do 2 to 3 passes twice weekly. You're just going to kill your rubber. So all we want is to get it clean. Next, we're going to use, when it's gloss black wheels like these ones, I like to use a microfiber brush. So this is the barrel brush from Auto Fiber with a removable microfiber bonnet on top so you can clean it separately. I like to clean my tools and my microfiber towels after each use. So what I'm seeing with this wheel and tire cleaner is absolutely amazing lubrication. So slick. Also, don't forget, in your wheel bucket, always have some shampoo in there or rinseless wash, like the Clean by Pan rinseless wash, or in this case, we're using the Clean by Pan, the organizer shampoo. So I like to have lubrication on the tools themselves. For the wheel faces, especially when it's delicate gloss black finishes, I like to use a microfiber wheel mitt. You can use a microfiber towel as well, if you guys want to, no problem. So yeah, tons of lubrication. As you can see, I'm also not coughing, right? And I'm even working indoors in my garage. So this is a tougher scenario for fumes because we're indoors. So if this was this like old school toxic sodium hydroxide style caustic materials, we'd be coughing our lungs off. So it's important for me, like, to make the chemicals as safe as possible without sacrificing performance, right? So let's get those wheel nuts. You can grab the Clean by Pan, the organizer, boar hair brush for cleaning the wheel nuts, and of course the calipers if you guys want to. Here we're just testing the product to clean the wheels here. And what I'm seeing, again, great lubrication on that surface. So let's rinse away and assess. All right, beautiful. So even on the tire dressing, so this is the Clean by Pan, the organizer tire dressing. Applied this one roughly 3 weeks ago now. So we can still see the hydrophobic properties on the wheels here. The beading has been restored, it's clean, it's shedding the water super quickly. There's almost no water left on the blades themselves, so it did a super job at cleaning. Now let me dry my gloves here. All right, let's go deep inside there and assess. What are we seeing? Nothing. No dirt. This did a fantastic job. Tons of lubrication once again. Super safe for the wash. Very, very highly effective at cleaning. This is amazing. Now, let's go and test the 1:10 dilution ratio in the regular spray bottle and see if we can get decent results as well. All right, so on the front passenger wheel, that same level of dirt and brake dust. So we have all this nastiness here. Look at it. It's disgusting. All right. Still got a bit of pollen on there. Brake dust, dirt. All right, so as we said, for this side, we're using the 1:10 dilution for light to medium soiling. Let's prime the sprayer. All right. So let's start by pre-rinsing the wheel and tire. All right, so let's start to spray this on there. So this is just a regular trigger sprayer. So this is not your foaming type, like the foaming pump sprayer. And as you can tell, like we're not using much when you're using it in a spray bottle or a trigger sprayer, because this is not a foam cannon. So we're still seeing the surfactants. I like to see that. So all those bubbles on the surface, this tells me it should do a pretty good job. So let's start with the tires. All right, look at that. Came to play. So even if we're using the non-foaming version, we're still having the surfactants give us that nice lather on the surface in combination, of course, with the Clean by Pan, the organizer shampoo that's in the bucket. There we go. Should be plenty good. Let's take our barrel brush, microfiber brush. Let's clean the inside. So have a regimen when you're cleaning your wheels. So I like to start from the top, as you guys can see, work my way down. I always start with the tires first, and then I do the inner barrels, and then I move to the wheel faces. And there we go. Take our microfiber mitt, do the spokes, and same thing here. Even though this is even more diluted, right? We're at a 1:10 ratio, still getting tremendous lubrication. Very, very important, especially when you're working on delicate wheel finishes, like these gloss black wheels. Gloss black, I'd never get a black car because of that. I mean, it seems like anything black for painted finishes, as soon as you breathe on them, you're getting swirls and scratches. Man, I am loving this. Look at that. Drop comments in the comment section if you guys are excited for this one. Let's clean that lip. But yeah, I cannot wait. This seems to be pretty amazing with the tests I've been doing so far on this formula. All right, let's rinse that down. Ooh, that's nice. So same thing here. We're still getting the hydrophobic properties on the wheels. We didn't kill the coating. The water's shedding off quickly, fully clean. The tire, the same thing. It is clean and dark, and it still has the hydrophobics of the Clean by Pan, the organizer tire dressing. That also shows you just how good and chemical resistant this tire dressing is, because despite this product, the wheel and tire cleaner being pH 11 or 12, in that region, the Clean by Pan, the organizer tire dressing resisted that no problem. You should be getting easily 3 to 4 weeks with this if you prep the tire properly and you apply it well. Another quick pro tip that I can give you for your wheels, if you don't have any protection on there, or if you have a ceramic coating, you want to top off the protection, make the drying stage even easier. Once they're clean and rinsed off and still wet like this, you can take the Clean by Pan, the organizer ceramic spray sealant, shake it up, a few sprays on the faces, a few in the barrels. you're going to take your pressure washer. You need a strong stream of water for this to work well. So either from a pressure washer or a garden hose that has enough pressure. We're going to rinse from bottom to top to spread the product around, and then top to bottom to do the final rinse. And we're going to have amazing hydrophobics. And there you go. That, my friends, is how you easily apply some protection to your wheels. You don't have to do a full wheels off service. Of course you can if you want to apply a ceramic coating up to inside of the barrels, or you can apply a coating to the faces and then use a spray on rinse off in your regular maintenance washes to get to the barrels. Whatever works for you. But a solution like this is inexpensive. You can use this as a drying aid on your paint with your microfiber drying towel. You can use this as a spray on rinse off sealant. You can apply this on a dry surface. It just has so many uses. No wonder it's still one of the favorites and the biggest sellers in the Clean by Pan, the organizer lineup. So overall, I'm super pleased with the wheel and tire cleaner. The performance is amazing. So let me dry once again my gloves here. So we got some dry. Let's go to the inner barrels. Let's try and get everything we can into these corners on the spokes. And let's see, nothing, absolutely nothing. So just a clean surface. Now I just have to blow dry this off, and that is it. So what did you guys think? The Clean by Pan, the organizer wheel and tire concentrate. It's going to be nuts, regardless if you're using a foaming pump sprayer or a regular trigger sprayer. The 1:5, 1:10 dilution ratios both work super well. A little goes a long way. Even for your regular washes, if your wheels aren't too dirty, a 1:20, 1:15, whatever you guys want. Have some fun, play around with it. But yeah, very highly concentrated. I'm very happy with the level of lubrication, the cleaning power on the tires and wheels. Again, I'm going to keep some surprises for future videos, but regardless how hammered the wheels are or how lightly dirty they are, I think you're going to love this. Of course, if you have some super caked on brake dust, you're going to want to also use the iron remover. So you'd clean your wheels and tires first with the Clean by Pan, the organizer wheel and tire cleaner. And every now and then you can use the Clean by Pan, the organizer iron remover. So that's going to remove the embedded brake dust with that chemical reaction, that color bleeding, to remove that embedded contamination. And then from then on, you can retop your existing protection if need be, or if you don't have any protection, the Clean by Pan, the organizer spray sealant is fantastic for that, or any of the two Clean by Pan, the organizer ceramic coatings. Everybody who uses them loves them, right? So yeah, no, I'm very excited. Hopefully you guys are too. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final version, because at this point, with all the testing we've done on the previous versions too, and on this one that I'm going to continue testing on a bunch of stuff, I'm pretty sure that you guys are absolutely going to love it. Like everything in the Clean by Pan, the organizer lineup, I know it takes some time because I want to do it right. I could have released one months ago, but I wanted those new raw materials. I did not want that sodium hydroxide, old school caustic materials. That's way too easy. I think those are technologies of the past for wheel and tire cleaners. We can do better than that. So again, readily biodegradable surfactants in this one, very high quality cleaners. It's just, I'm so happy to finally release this as well. This has been a long time waiting for the people. I know you guys wanted that wheel and tire cleaner. So one product does it all, both your tires and your wheels. No need to have two dedicated products for all of that. And yeah, I'm sure you're gonna love this. So again, links in the description. I don't know when it's going to be officially released, again, depending on when you're watching this video, but we're getting near to it. We're going to have that beautiful label. Of course, you guys know the detailed instructions and all that kind of stuff. And let me know as soon as you get to try it. I want to have your feedback. That's what counts the most for me, my viewers' feedback. Thank you, by the way, for making this Clean by Pan, the organizer lineup a total success. I know we often sell out of products. We try to produce new batches as often as we can, but you guys have made this the hit that it is. And yeah, this allows us to continue with R&D and a bunch of crazy ideas that I have in the months to come as well. Stay tuned for that. So thanks for being there. Thanks for watching. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.